It's 1779. The story goes, Ned Ludd, a humble young weaver from Anstey, England, was taunted into passionately breaking two knitting frames in a fit of rage. Little did he know, his name would become a legend, sparking the first prominent counter-industrial movement in history. Even though he had no part in the movement, Ned would find himself to be referred to as somewhat of a Davy Crockett or Robin Hood-like figure at the forefront of the Luddite movement. And it was all because he threw a fit. The Luddite Movement. The Luddites, like Ned Ludd, were British weavers and textile workers that saw the industrialization of their fields of work as a threat to their artisanship and livelihoods. They felt threatened by the machines that were introduced into their societies, as it would render the years they put into their craft useless. A common misconception regarding the Luddites of the First Industrial Revolution was that they were against progress and industrialization, which is untrue because most Luddites were only against the idea of mechanization and supported the advent of technology. This misconception is often raised due to the brutal methods the Luddites deployed in response to the Industrial Revolution. To protest the increase in weaving machines and textile factories, Luddites often burned mills, sledgehammered machinery, and destroyed factory equipment. In 1811, the first noticeable Luddite riot occurred in Nottinghamshire, and a wave of riots would follow soon after. Although the Luddites took radical measures to be heard, their valid concerns somewhat warranted these violent acts. What they had feared had become reality. Artisanship was becoming more obsolete by the day, and cheap, poor labor was employed to work machinery that output medium to high quality textiles, which was desired as it was cheaper to the artisan alternative. Over the coming years, as negotiations would fail, violence would escalate, and sledgehammers would be traded in for guns. The growing violence would force the British government's hand, resulting in a in law. Breaking machinery would now be punishable by death. Along with the violence of the movement, establishing security for wealthy factory owners encouraged the British government to step in. Soldiers were sent in, and fighting ensued. Throughout 1812, the Luddites were fighting a losing battle, and by 1813 there was little to no trace of Luddite sentiment. The First Industrial Revolution had triumphed over the dissent of the Luddites, and anti-industrial sentiment had at last been quelled. Although the Luddites had lost, their impact is still lasting. Today, their impact can be seen in restaurant servers and truck drivers' protests against the rise of automation and skeptics of the power of artificial intelligence. From the first industrial revolution to the digital revolution and beyond, the Luddites' influence remains prevalent in the everlasting struggle of man versus machine. Thank you.